Real quick, I want to do a fair use.
And lower income people of about $2,000, and we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. The numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster. Frankly, it would be a national security problem for our country.
Well, America, the idiot in charge has spent the tariff money. He has spent $3 trillion. Where was it supposed to be? It was supposed to be in the bank. It was supposed to pay off our debt or give us a check as a tax return. I don't know. But he admitted himself in writing that he has spent the money. If he's forced to pay this money back, it will plunge the United States into the greatest recession or depression we've ever seen. You voted for him. Most of you voted for him 3 times. He spent the tariff money. On what? God knows who. He spent the tariff money and now can't pay it back. I don't know. How could we have known that? 5 bankruptcies? 2 failed casinos? Who can fail at a casino?
Donald Trump appears to be confessing that the revenue collected by tariffs has already been spent as he's trying to get ahead of the Supreme Court decision. Now, if you didn't know, right now the Supreme Court is deciding whether or not Trump had the legal authority to impose tariffs on U.S. businesses. If they rule against Donald Trump, the U.S. government is going to have to pay back all that tariff revenue, and Donald Trump is in a panic as he took to Truth Social to say this. The U.S. Supreme Court was given the wrong numbers. In the event of a negative decision, the amount to be returned is in excess of $3 trillion. It would not be possible to ever make up for that kind of drubbing. This would become a national security event. But just the day before, yesterday, Donald Trump said it was $2 trillion. He added $1 trillion today because he is panicked. He is trying to signal, in my opinion, to the Supreme Court the money's not here anymore. Either that or he's trying to game them. Either way, I have an idea to refund the money. You could defund ICE, or maybe that ballroom, or both. Either way, Trump is in some trouble here.
This dude is panicking. He's panicking because he doesn't have the money. He's panicking because he spent the money. The SNAP contingency fund, whatever tariff money that came in, it was not trillions, but it is estimated to be about 80 billion. It's gone. It's spent. Not just that, but this goes all the way back to USAID and the Doge stuff. They have taken money from all kinds of places in the government. And he's panicking now because the Supreme Court, in their oral arguments the other day, sounded like, even the conservatives, that they're going to rule against him on the tariffs being unconstitutional, which means he has to give the money back. And he's panicking because he doesn't have the money to give it back. He's riddled with dementia, so he's out here just admitting it. This is just an admission. This is the biggest theft of the American government in our history. We don't even know the tip of the iceberg. This is absolutely insane. We need a full audit of every dollar that has been spent in our government since January. I mean, really, we need a better audit of our government for like years and years, but since January, since he came into office, because I don't think that there is any money in these funds. He stole it. He stole our money.
At major news right now, Donald Trump is melting down because he's realizing the Supreme Court is about to rule against him on the most consequential economic policy of his administration, tariffs. And he's realizing that he probably spent all of the money generated by the tariffs already, and he doesn't know how he's going to pay it back. Because if the Supreme Court says, Donald Trump, your tariffs are illegal, he's going to have to pay back billions and billions of dollars generated from the tariffs. And he's admitting now that the United States of America has already spent some of that money, and it's going to be a complete and utter mess. Economic numbers are bad. Tariffs are bad. And the Trump administration, well, they're gearing up for a massive loss in front of the United States Supreme Court that could come as soon as this week. And Donald Trump, he's lashing out at everyone. He's lashing out publicly, and now he's even lashing out at his own attorneys who appeared in front of the Supreme Court. Read this with me. The United States Supreme Court was given the wrong numbers. The unwind in the event of a negative decision on tariffs would be including investment made to be made and return of funds in excess of $3 trillion. It would not be possible to ever make up for that kind of drubbing. That would truly become an insurmountable national security event and devastating to the future of our country, possibly non-sustainable. Read this with me. Who gave the Supreme Court wrong numbers? His own Solicitor General, John Sauer, gave the Supreme Court wrong numbers according to him. Trump is not happy. And now Trump is saying that excess of $3 trillion that we'd have to pay back, even though the tariffs have only generated about $200 billion worth of revenue for the United States. So not sure where he's getting that $3 trillion number from. But what he's saying here is that essentially the United States of America has spent some of the money, has invested some of the money, and they won't be able to pay back the tariffs. Now, folks, this is stunning. This is absolutely stunning. Donald Trump and the Trump administration always knew that it was a possibility that he would be forced to pay back this money generated from the tariffs. That was always part of the agenda. It was always a part of a possible plan. If the Supreme Court said, you know what, Trump, your tariffs are unconstitutional. And well, despite all of that, he is running our country right now as though he's running a casino in Atlantic City, just spending. And then one day our country could face bankruptcy and he won't have any money to pay lenders. Same thing here. He's spending all this money generated by tariffs. And as soon as this week, the Supreme Court could come back and say, you know what, you can't actually spend that money because you can't even have that money in the first place. And Donald Trump should have seen this coming, because if you watched the Supreme Court oral arguments, you would have seen massive resistance from even Trump's own appointed justices. But that's not all. Trump was rebuked by his own party in front of the United States Senate. 5 senators joined all Democrats. 5 Senate Republicans joined all Democrats to rebuke Trump on tariffs on Brazil. 4 Republicans joined all Democrats to rebuke tariffs on Canada. And another.
Yeah, so this is John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life. Right, and who's the one that came that they may have life is Yahawashi. Right? He became poor that we may be rich. Right? He gave up everything, including his life, for the elect, right? Which is of the nation of Israel. Right? It's not dealing with all nations per se, as far as dealing with all different spectrums of nationalities. It's all nations and spectrum dealing with the Israelites who are in all these different nations, who are speaking different languages and even looking like those people, because the bloodline goes back to Israel through their father, right? Dealing with a patriarchy, right? Because that's what make you who you are, and that's how it's always been. You are who your father is. There's no way around it, right? And this is things that they know, going all the way back, because then you'll be John, and then son of John, and then Johnson and Johnson, right? As they go down the line, which comes through your father, right? You can't be George Powell the third unless you had the second and the first, and then maybe even George Powell, the senior, who was before even the first, right? So really, it could be 4 generations with the same name, but it always carries the man, the seed, the name, and the seed, right? When you go to the 12 tribes, it carries each tribe, but their name, what? Israel, right? Judah, Israel, right? Benjamin, Israel. Levi, Israel, right? On and so forth. Issachar, Israel. Gad, Israel. Right? Which is because it comes from our father. Right? You know? And it's interchangeable with Jacob at that too. Right? Because, you know, when you know about King James, which is an Israelite, or was, should we say, like, as far as that he was dead, but he has to be back here today, somewhere prophesying today, right? Because there's such thing as reincarnation, regeneration, and he was a Jacobite, right? Interchangeable with Israel, right? It says that he was a keeper of the commandments, right? So, I mean, that's not for any other nation to keep the commandments. That's why you say that they're done away with, right? But it says, that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly, right? Dealing with the Israelites, like I was saying. And I am the good shepherd, which is Yahawashi. The good shepherd giveth his life. Yep, there you go. For the sheep, right? He gave his life for the sheep, right? Ain't nobody else doing that, right? I mean, you know, I guess you do give up your life for the brethren, but it ain't on the level that of Yahawashi. Your thing is to be in his likeness, right? And that's what Peter, John, all the disciples who became apostles did. They died for truth's sake, right? And today is no different, right? Many are going to be beheaded, right? Killed for the witness of Yahawashi, to be martyrs for the truth's sake, right? Because the Bible, the Lord cannot lie. The Bible cannot lie, as you could see, right? Because everything is coming, right? Whose own shepherd, whose own the sheep are not. Wait, but look, Slakia. But he that is a hireling, Slakia, and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not. Yeah, he don't own the sheep. Yeah, he's just a hireling. Seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and flee, and the wolf catcheth them, right? And that's these troops that Trump is about to send. They're going to be the wolves. They're coming in packs. They're coming in droves. They're going to be madmen sparing none. Meanwhile, he's stealing the money. Meanwhile, he's putting the tariff to the top of the ceiling, and you're never going to be able to pay. So definitely hyperinflation has to be coming very soon, right? I don't think he can sustain it too much longer after this. And now he has to pretend that he's going senile, because that was a good trick that Biden pulled, and people just let Biden just go on and on and make all these crazy decisions and this and that, which really wasn't him. It was the elite, but you know, he's the front man. But no one said nothing because he looked like an old senile old man. It was like somebody like your grandpa. You know, they make a good effort for the day, and you know, yay, like a toddler. You know, they make their first little steps, and yeah, and like, you know, you almost be happy for him that he's kind of functioning half decent today, you know, and you're giving him credits and kudos to someone who's destroying your future, you know. And so I think this dude is try to play the same thing. But meanwhile, he's about to send those troops, those wolves, and flee, and the wolf, right? And that's what they're about to do. The elite, while they're sending in the troops and all these different things, they're already talking about fleeing to the bunkers. They're already talking about fleeing to military bases, right? Meanwhile, leaving you out here with the wolves, right? And more than one way. It's going to be, you know, a man could be known as a wolf, you know, just using it parabolically, so to speak. And then the actual wolves and lions and actual creatures that hunt, right? leopards, and bro, it's about to get very dangerous on so many scale levels. It should be impossible for you to make it out of this thing. That's why you're going to need Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi. You're going to need divine intervention, right? Catch them and scatter them and scatter the sheep, right? Yeah. Some people go to this concentration camp. You go to this concentration camp. Split up the family. These are the things that they're talking about doing, right? These are the things they're doing, should I say, right? Yeah. So this is Proverbs chapter 21, verse 26. He coveteth greedily all the day long. Hey, and that's what he's been doing. Yeah, I'm going to put more tariffs on them. And don't worry about it. You're going to be able to spend money hand over fist when you get these tariffs. Don't worry about it. The tariffs are going to make us great money. Don't worry about it. Hey, we're going to make America great again. Meanwhile, yeah, it did make him money hand over fist. He spent it. $3 trillion. And the other chick said it wasn't 3 trillion, but somewhere like 80. She said something about 80 billion. It wasn't 3 trillion, whichever it was. I've never seen either, right? 80 billion might as well be 3 trillion to me, you know. Shit, give me 80 billion, bro. Hey, we finna do it up, man. Me and the brothers, man. We finna shit, you know. The brothers that I be around, shit, we gonna go live it up. We're gonna do some things, shit, you know. Yeah, because it's just, you know, at the end of the day, because the whole thing with them is it's just a way of a means to live. Like, you know, you're not supposed to be hung up on it, right? And that's how we look at it. You know, it's a tool. That's it. I mean, we're looking for the return of Yahawashi. You know what I'm saying? But the righteous giveth and spareth not. See, yeah. See, if we had, man, we're gonna share amongst the brothers, man. We're gonna just hoard it all to ourselves. You know what I mean? But that's what's gonna make it beautiful once the kingdom of heaven is established back on earth, right? Even you heathen are gonna rejoice at Yahawashi, King David, the 144,000, and the Israelites collectively ruling, right? Once Israel is saved anyway, once the elect is saved, the order is going to go out. Then of course all Israel will be saved. But once you see that, you're gonna see the benefits compared to Esau ruling, or even these other nations. That's why the Lord set it up that way. That's why he had Nebuchadnezzar have that dream, show you those empires are going to rule, and then you're going to be able to weigh it out in the balance, so to speak, and all these empires that ruled, and then this empire that's under Yahawashi, under King David, and you're going to see, damn, this far outsees and far outweighs any kingdom that ever exists. You know what I mean? Even though you would like to be a ruler, you're going to be like, yeah, this is far better. Which the Lord's most likely still going to make someone a ruler. Like the Lord said, they're going to give Moab back their land, right? Because it's meant to be that way. The Lord divided the nations. So the Lord's going to go back. The Lord's going to divide the nations to the portion of the children of Israel, right? Right? And now we're a bigger nation, so you're probably going to get a smaller piece, but you're going to have your peace. And then you're going to have a king set up over you. And then your king is going to say, oh, well, the Israelites said today is the Day of Atonement. Everybody must fast. No water, no drink, because today is the Day of Atonement according to the Israelites, because they rule over us. All right. Today is the day of, today is the new moon. I don't want nobody working, so on and so forth. And then, you know, as things, you know, go, of course, you have the harvest, the feast of harvest. You got the end of harvest. People are gonna, yeah, man, you're gonna rejoice. You're gonna be eating good, living good. You're just gonna have to be under our reign. I mean, that's just it. But it'd be nothing like this. You're not going to have GMO foods. You're not going to have pollution. You know what I mean? You damn sure ain't going to be eating roaches and rats and poisonous fish and all this madness that you do. Hey, man, you're not going to be eating pigs and all this. Yeah, none of that's going to happen. It says the sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination. How much more when he bringeth it with a wicked mind. So yeah, he's talking about giving you $2,000, right? That's like a sacrifice, so to speak, to him. Oh, I guess I'll give them $2,000 to all the citizens, but it's all with a wicked mind. It's all, even if he did give you 2,000, it's really on the back end. It's going to come with interest, and all the citizens are going to have to pay for it, right? It's to put you further in debt, you know? Yeah, so this is Psalms chapter 10, verse 3. It says, for the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire. And that's what Trump was doing. Oh, yeah, we get these tariffs, and you're going to have money hand over fist, and then you're going to know where to spend it. Hey, and that's exactly what he did. He just started spending it, doing all sorts of spending, man. I don't think he even know where he spent it. He just did so much spending, he don't know where the money went. Right, and then I guess he's supposed to have to pay it back, and then, oh no, it's going to be catastrophic to America if we have to pay this back. So it's going to be, it would be catastrophic to you, but hey, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to pay it back, so it is going to be catastrophic to everyone, right? You know what I'm saying? And blesseth the covetous, whom Yahawah abhor, right? Those all them billionaires in his cabinet and his administration. Right, they're all covered. They all probably got a portion of it, right? Of the 3 trillion. I mean, like Debo, you know what I mean? He said, man, you got $200, but I want to spend Red's money. You know what I'm saying? I want to spend this guy's money, right? You know, I feel for them it feels better to spend someone else's money instead of theirs, right? But you know. A righteous, you're not going to feel right. You're not going to feel right spending someone else's money. You know what I mean? If you do, it should eat at you. Like, bro, like, you know? The Lord ain't going to let you sleep. Like, man. It says the wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after the power. Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, QaDash. Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, QaDash is not in all his thoughts. He ain't thinking about the Lord. He's not thinking about, man, I'm wrong. I shouldn't have spent all these people money. These people are looking to retire. Some people are young people. They're looking to barely start their lives. I'm 80 some odd years old. I'm going to kick the bucket at any time. And why just throw away these people's thing when they have a chance that they can, enjoy at least their last days that while they live, or they're just barely starting off their life so they can actually at least have a good, what's called a head start, a push towards the right direction, so to speak. Right? But he ain't, the Lord ain't all his thoughts. He not caring. Yeah, so this is 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of the power of the Most High Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi? Be not deceived. See? This what these people are. I'm a Christian. I'm a Bible-believing country. And God bless America. Right? It says neither fornicators, right? There's a whole lot of that going on here in America, rather physically and spiritually, right? You're worshiping all sorts of other gods, all sorts of different deities, all these different holidays, right? Which goes all of them go back to some other deity, and then you try to write it off like, oh, it's no big deal, like vocab writes it off like we don't celebrate Easter. It just happens to be Resurrection Sunday on Easter Day. Yeah. And we're not celebrating the bunny, but we bring the bunny for the children. Yeah. These man, hey, you know, and yeah, neither fornicators or idolaters, right? Which kind of is pretty much the same thing almost, right? Besides actual legitimate fornication, right? Man. Oh well, man with man, woman with woman. That's fornication, right? Right? Or having sex with a married woman, right? It's not you having multiple wives. It's you having sex with someone else's wife. That makes it fornication, right? Because you can have multiple wives, right? The Lord doesn't change. I am the Lord, I change not. It's in the law. The law is not done away with. In the law, you can have multiple wives, and the law hasn't changed. It's when you're having sex with someone else's wife, that's fornication, right? Nor idolaters, right? Worshiping other gods and all sorts of manner of madness. Nor adulterers, right? See, having sex with somebody else's wife, going back into that, see? And a lot of times the Lord, these things, sometimes it gives it its own definition. It's defining itself. You know what I mean? And it says, nor effeminate, right? Here we go. Nor abusers of themselves with mankind. See how that just, it defined itself, feminine, and then it says, them that abuse themselves with mankind. And that's the thing that goes on in America. That's when they passed the law. It's all good, huh? It's all good in the Edomite neighborhood. You can do what you want to do. But that is not so according to the Most High, Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, right? It says, nor thieves, nor covetous, right? Oh, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Nor drunkards, right? Yeah. And you could be literally drunk, or you could be drunk off your pride, right? Nor revelers, nor extortion. And that's what you did. You just extorted the entire country and the entire world because I'm gonna put this many tariffs on you. I'm gonna you just spend it. 3 trillion or 80 billion, whatever it is, you just extorted that. And then you brag around, I'm a billionaire. I have plenty of money. And you just brag about you. But you know what? To you, it's good to spend someone else's money, right? Says nor extortioners shall inherit, because that's what you are. Nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of the power of the Most High, Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, right? Yeah, so this is Proverbs chapter 9, verse 17. Yeah, because this is how they think. Stolen waters are sweet, right? So you stole it, stolen water and bread eaten in secret, right? So you stole the water, stole the bread, right? Hey, you say, hey, if we do it in secret, we be the Illuminati. We have this new world ordo seclorium, right? We push forth the micro C-hip, right, via the small hats, Rawchaa Central Digital Karagma Banking, right? We're good. We're good to go, right? It's nothing. It's no big deal. And not to you got the military behind, showing you got the military. So what could we do besides go that you're a thief? You stole it. You stealer. Only thing you can do is just say this guy stole. You can't do nothing. This dude literally put the military out there and was like, yeah, I'm finna steal 3 trillion or whatever it is, 80 billion, whatever, and I'm just gonna spend it, and ain't nothing you could do. Do something. Do something. He daring you. Do something. he got his pit bulls out in the front yard on your ass, right? Eating in secret is pleasant, right? Hey, it's pleasant to them. They're doing good. But he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell, right? So this place, America, it's finished, man. All that is gonna put this into the depths of hell, which is gonna go into these race wars, food wars, right? Hunger war, the Hunger Games type wars, right? And they'll come out order out of chaos, and get some type of order and things, and push it for a while. But eventually, the missiles are going to be shot, man. Right? World War III is inevitable, and this place is going to be a desert. Right? The Lord already said, all them that been at the bow. So you're going to go to hell, right? And that's the missiles. It's going to be a condition. The lake of fire is a condition. It's not a place that you burn it forever. It's not a little river over by the Jordan somewhere. I don't know what kind of madness Jake's beyond. That's why I don't really watch too many these other camps too much. It's crazy. I hear through the other brothers. I rather that happen, because it's just too much folly out there, right? Yeah. So this is Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 6. It says, will all these victims, right? Because basically it's what you are, right? 3 trillion, 80 billion, whatever it is that they're saying. But he both ways you became a victim, right? Taxed you more on one end, then he turned around and was supposed to develop it and develop the country, or give you the money. Everybody get $2,000 or whatever, however it go, which will in turn pump money into the economy or whatever they was gonna do, what they were meant to try to do. But instead, while all these victims of his greed, of Trump's greed, not take up a parable take up a taunting song against him. And that's what they're going to be saying. And then they're going to be doing these protests. And say, they're going to be like, you rich. You're already rich. Trump, you a bitch for stealing all our shit. Impeach him. They're going to be singing some type of something. I don't know. I was just making that up as I went along, but something. They're going to come up with some type of slogan, right? But that's what it is, like a song, a slogan. Their protest slogan, their protest song, right? Away with the rich. They want us to live in the ditch. Away with the rich. Right? Some type of slogan. I don't know. I'm just making it up. I don't know. But they'll come up with something, right? Against him, and a mock against him, and in mocking derision against him, saying, right? Yeah, see? Some type of way they're gonna mock him, You sleepy, right? You call Biden Sleepy Joe. You was sleeping, right? That's because he had that itis, man. He ate too good off that money he done spent, man. He was everybody making fun of him, but hey, now we know why he was sleeping in that motherfucker. He had a party, man. I don't know if he partied all night long. He had one of those there's what's it called, that movie what's it called, Hangover, right? He went to Vegas and he's had one of them hangover nights. Oh man, he just and woke still kind of tired, like, what? $3 billion? No. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna give everybody $2,000, and that'd be catastrophic for for the bottom line of America. So we'll start talking that. Well, he always talk out his ass, right? But hey, that's what it is. It's woe, which is judgment, is coming to him who increaseth that which is not his, right? And that's what they've been doing. But we've been saying this for forever. They're the devil. What a surprise, man. It's not a surprise to us, right? It's actually kind of funny now at this point, right? And usually I would be pissed. I would be mad, like as if that happened directly to me. But at this point, that has no relevance to me. We need this place to go down. How long will he possess it, right? So how long are you going to be in rulership? And obviously not much longer. I don't think he even think he's going to be in rulership much longer, right? Because who does such a thing if you plan on staying in rulership a lot long? I'm just going to just keep, woe to him that maketh himself wealthy with loans, right? And then when you go into that word, layeth himself with thick clay, right? In the KJV, right? And oh man, clay. Oops, Salakia. Go back. Oh. Clay, which is abat yad. Clay says await a pledge, right? Which pledge like being like a pawn shop. Basically, when you go to the pawn shop, you basically putting yourself in debt, right? Even right here tell you pawned goods, right? So like a pawn shop. That's what a pledge means. Heavy debt, right? And going to the root word, it says to take a pledge, giving pledge for debt, right? So for debt, pledge for debt. So he just said, hey, let's spend this $3 trillion and let's go into more debt, right? But somehow he planned on ruling forever, which it's not so. It's not so. It's not according to the scriptures, man. Right? Yeah. So I'm continue on here. Verse 7, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 7, shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, right? Because they're going to be pushing forth this charagma, and a lot of people are going to get it, but via through what all this thing that's going to happen, something has to happen where it's going to put a strain on them getting everybody micro C-hipped, right? Pretty much like the same thing will happen, because if the CV-19 was a test, right? We would have to see and understand that this would have to be pretty much the same thing, but being that this isn't the test, this is the exam. People, this is far more important, right? So I think that's why they're gonna do things like starve people out, right? Leave no water, no food, and basically try to cause you, right? So to speak, causeth all both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond to receive that mark, right? That's going to be a way of causing you to do it. But people know the importance of this. So I believe that's, Lord willing, speaking as a man, I believe it's going to put more of a canker, or so to speak, or like a jam up their progress, right, on a higher scale than it did before. But they're going to get a lot of people. A lot of people are going to, and but yeah, but that's what they're going to do. Awake, and awake shall vex thee, and thou shall be for booty. Yeah, right. Boot means money, or like in that time, money is going to be non-existent. But whatever you have, right? So your neighbor should come to you for the want of your goods, right, so to speak, unto them, right? It says, will your creditors, right? Because that's what you're doing. You're giving all these people credit and debt and this and that, not rise up suddenly, and those who collect for you awake, right? You have these people who's in the so-called military. You got these people that's in the governmental departments of collecting money and taxes and this and that. And hey man, it's a scam. They've been scammed, right? And then, like I said, the heightened thing, and a lot of people know that this is basically the fourth beast, the fourth industrial system, dealing with the new technology, the Kragma, the Crocs, the Grapho, which is the mark of the fourth beast in Daniel, right? Right, the one with the deadly wound that was returned and has healed NATO, EU, America, right? And that's where we're at, right? We're at the end of the scriptures, right? Right before the second coming of our Lord, which that means he's coming quickly. So it says, for you awaken, right? Then will become, then you will become plunder for them, right? See, right? As this is Second Esdras chapter 15, verse 16. For there shall be sedition amongst men. See, and that's what's all going to happen. Sedition, and then what do they call insurrections, right? Because that's all in the scripture. Sedition, insurrection, right? And that's what's basically what's being pushed forth, right? Sedition amongst men and invading one another. See, that's what's going to happen, right? They shall not regard their kings nor princes, right? Their mayor, the Congress, the president, right? The neighborhood watch guy, right? Right? Nobody, right? And the cause of their actions shall stand in their power, right? Because people are docile. Even with all this, you're hearing this, man. It should already been happened. Why? Well, I don't know what people are waiting on, or how you have to spit in their face and insult their intelligence before they do something. I do not know, right? And the cause of their actions shall stand in their power, right? Because they should be doing something. And then, of course, once all the little different things happen, of course, they're going to come in, order out of KO, right? A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. So then that's when you come with, I got the solution. We'll bring in the martial law. We'll do this. We'll have some infrastructure. We'll have some type of guidelines and rules, and, we'll have, things to make you feel civil, right? But you won't still get to the issue that these people just threw away your entire way of life to just hand you something else. All right? Hand you a totally different new way of living. Social credit scores and digital dollars where you don't. I mean, I guess this money don't really exist either, technically, but at least this system was, you know what, somewhat fair, kind of like you could understand this thing, you know. And when you couldn't make money, you can go get a job and work under the table, and make some under table money, and you just pay them taxes on this other stuff that they know that you've done, and you could kind of get by. But when you're under in this thing, you can never get back up. You know what I mean? Like the society in China, those people who spoke against the government and did this and that, and now they're fourth or D class citizens, right? Fourth class citizens, D class citizens, and then they're just completely in the slums, right? Yeah, should desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Salakia. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's the time we're coming in. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, right? But they shall destroy their houses, right? See? For booty. You're going to be for booty. You're going to be for plunder. They're going to be plundering. Right? Destroying with the sword and spoiling their goods, right? Plundering their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Yeah? So with all that, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahawah, BaHaSham, Yahawashi, BaHaSham, Rawchaa QaDash. Like give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostle, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold, Shalom. To your sisters, your Yahawah, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and above all, and Kwam Yasharallah.